please? We're calling to order the September 26, 2023 City Commission meeting of Daytona Beach Shores. Sharon, can you take a roll for us, please?
Mayor Lily?
Here.
Vice Mayor Close?
Here.
Commissioner Bryan?
Here.
Commissioner Conmos?
Here.
Commissioner Lindau?
Here.
Thank you, Sharon. And today, Reverend Bob was not to be in attendance with us, but we have Reverend Melissa. Can you please come and lead us in prayer?
Sure. I took a peek at the budget, or the plan for the agenda for tonight, and I saw that you were going to be discussing the final budget, so I've crafted my prayer around that.
Thank you for doing that.
Right. Creator of all, in the midst of our budget discussions, we humbly pause to express our gratitude for the abundance that surrounds us. As we pore over financial statements and projections, may we never lose sight of the blessings that sustain our journey. May gratitude fill our hearts, reminding us of the privilege it is to allocate resources for the betterment of the city of Daytona Beach Shores and the lives they will touch. Through gratitude, may we bring an energy of positivity and appreciation to our deliberations, recognizing that even amid challenges, we are blessed beyond measure. We thank you for the gifts that enrich our lives and allow us to contribute to the well-being of others. As we navigate the complexities before us tonight, grant us the wisdom to choose paths that align with our purpose and uplift the spirit of this community. We thank you for being our guiding light and trust that your wisdom will prevail. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for the very fitting and timely message. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move straight on to new business, the trim process. And we're going to go on to Resolution 2023-13. It's the final levying of our ad valorem taxes for fiscal year 23-24. So that item has been called up. Do we need any more background information from our finance director?
Actually, Madam Mayor, if I may. Hello, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, Commission, sorry. This is on.
Sherry, is this on?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. What I wanted to do, nothing has changed since our last hearing, but we did actually put the trim notice information in the newspaper. So I wanted to kind of clarify a little bit, because when you start looking at that, we are doing the rollback rate, the 4.5880%. That is our millage. But it looks like we do have a budget increase of $4 million. Those are due to capital items that we've discussed. The $1 million for the walkovers that we've got to put up before FEMA reimburses us. It's the $2.5 million for the sewer master plan and the capital improvements to our sewer lines, and the $500,000 in the EOC engineering cost. So I just kind of wanted to clarify that in case anybody, was questioning that, because we are doing the rollback rate.
Okay, thank you very much. Before our finance director leaves, based on that, do you have any questions for her? Okay, if not, I want to announce that I'm going to open this to a public hearing on the 2023-2024 millage rates. This hearing is to establish the final millage rate of 4.5880 mils, which is the rollback tax rate of 4.5880 mils. City Attorney, could you please read in the entirety the final millage levy resolution number 2023-13?
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is resolution number 2023-13, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the final levying of ad valorem taxes for Volusia County for fiscal year 2023-2024, providing an effective date. Whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, on September 26, 2023, adopted fiscal year 2023-2024 final millage rates following a public hearing as required by Florida Statute Section 200.065. And whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, held a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065, and whereas the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt from taxation within Volusia County has been certified by the county property appraiser to the City of Daytona Beach Shores as $2,017,145,964. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, that Section 1, the fiscal year 2023-2024 operating millage rate is 4.5880 mils, which is the rollback rate of 4.5880 mils. Section 2, any resolution or part of a resolution in conflict herewith is hereby repealed. Section 3, this resolution will take effect immediately upon its adoption, passed and duly adopted at a public hearing this 26th day of September 2023. Time adopted 6:06 p.m.
Thank you, City Attorney. Okay, I am now going to open this meeting up to allow public comment to speak on anything on the final millage rate. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this? Okay, seeing no one, I'm going to officially close the public comment. I will now entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-13.
I move we approve 2023-13.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion on that, Sharon, can you take a vote, please?
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Economos.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gladys,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Now that this has been adopted, the final operating millage rate is set at 4.5880 mils, which is 4.51% higher than the rolled back millage rate of 4.5880 mils. Okay, next we will go on to resolution 2023-14, fiscal year 2023-24 budget. This item is now called up. Laura, do you have anything to add on this?
No, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. Okay, I will now open the public hearing on fiscal year 2023-2024 budget. City Attorney, could you please read this in entirety?
Certainly. This is Resolution 2023-14, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, adopting the final budget for fiscal year 2023-2024, providing for an effective date. Whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, on September 26, 2023, held a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065, and whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for fiscal year 2023 through 2024 in the amount of $24,113,700. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, that 1, the fiscal year 2023-2024 final budget be adopted. 2, this resolution will take effect immediately upon its adoption. Duly adopted at a public hearing this 26th day of September 2023. Time adopted 6:09 p.m.
Thank you, Attorney Boyce. I am going to now open this up to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak before we adopt this final budget? Okay, seeing no one, I'll now close public comment. I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution 2023-14, adopting the fiscal year 2023-2024 final annual budget of $24,113,700.
So move.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes. I gotta say, prior to our new finance director, we had our city manager as our finance director. And through all these budget workshops that we did, I learned a lot. But I gotta say, both of you all, I have my highest regards. Clarity, transparency. You're saying what you're going to spend the money on, and you're telling us what you're doing to try and get reimbursements, whether it's a state grant or a federal grant. And the thing I like the most is you're looking out for the taxpayers' dollars. You're staggering your capital expenditures. Several years ago, we spent money on some big items. I remember the fire truck. This year, we're anticipating sewer improvements in hopes that we don't get hit hard during the storm season. But I learned from you guys, and I just love the fact that we have these really, really practical and these great conversations, and we get through the budget, and I learn. And so when people come up to me, whether it's at Publix or a Walgreens, they're like, what's going on? I can say, because I know, because you've educated me. So I got to say the budget process and what we went through was really good for me and a great experience. And it's kudos to you guys how you run this city so efficiently. So again, thank you and my compliments.
Thank you.
Sure, we all agree with that.
Definitely.
Sherry, can you take a vote, please?
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Plitus,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, now we are going to move on to our presentations and public notices. I understand Barbara Ann Hegan. Barbara is is it CEO of Port Orange, South Daytona Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely, Mayor Miller. Thank you, Commissioners. Good evening. I'm here to share that we have hired a full-time person. Her name's Heather Pastor.
Can you talk into the mic just a little bit more? I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you so much. We have hired a full-time person. Her name is Heather Pastor, and she is at the Daytona Beach Shores office Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And on occasion, she'll be coming to chamber events and meetings. So that's a new addition. And then the other piece I wanted to share is we're starting a blood pressure clinic in support of our residents here in Daytona Beach Shores out of the chamber annex starting on Tuesday. It will be from 9 to 11 in partnership with Halifax Health Walk-in Clinic. So they have an express care that we're neighbors, and we just see that it's a need, and they're going to have one of their clinicians at our chamber office. So we invite residents as well as employees from the city to participate.
And is that, Barbara Ann, is that free of charge?
Free of charge.
Do they have to present their insurance?
They do not. It's a complimentary service to the community.
Great, thank you.
And I have flyers and brochures, and it's on our Facebook. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome.
Okay, next we will go to the approval of the minutes, our city commission meeting on September 12th, 2023. Here a motion to accept those minutes.
I so move.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or anything that needs changed on those minutes? Okay, hearing none. Sherry, can you take a vote, please?
Yes, ma'am. Vice Mayor Plitus,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, on our consent agenda this evening, we have 7 items. Do I hear a motion to approve those as is, or are there any of them that will need to be pulled for discussion?
Also move, we approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on any of the items? Okay, Sherry, can you take a vote, please?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Plitus,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, next we're going to move on to old business. This is ordinance 2023-12. It's a declaration of emergency. This is the second reading. Attorney Voice, can you read that ordinance for us, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is ordinance number 2023-12, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, creating a new section 2-24 entitled Declaration of Emergency of Chapter 2 Administration of the Code of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, providing for legislative findings and intent, granting the city manager certain powers during a time of weather emergency, providing for processes and procedures, providing for severability, codification, conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. We've discussed this, I believe, on one or two previous occasions. Is there any discussion? Well, let me take a motion, please. Do I have a motion first to accept 23-12?
I move we approve 2023-12.
I'll second.
Thank you. And any discussion on that?
There was an amendment, a deletion of a paragraph or something for the,
Correct. I believe that Commissioner Conamos wanted something deleted.
and so that is deleted.
It is, I did not see it in there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question,
I have
Commissioner Bryan.
one other question. Is, and this will replace the emergency? Is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because we passed an emergency.
Right. Something was missing
Yeah.
Can you take a vote, please, Sherry?
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Politis,
Yes.
Commissioner Conamos,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to new business. This is Resolution 2023. It's an opposition to a proposed fuel farm near Ormond Beach. And if I could give you a little background on this. So there is slated, it's right outside of Ormond Beach. It's actually in an unincorporated Volusia County. This is a 200 million gas tank that they wish to propose on that location. So there is a lot of people that have opposition to this. And as I've told you before, I'm the first vice president of Volusia League of Cities. And we took it upon ourselves to do a resolution. So the 16 cities in Volusia County will be supporting the opposition of this fuel farm. So with that in mind, and if anyone has any questions after our city attorney reads this, I'll be glad to answer it with what I know. But city attorney, can you read that for us, please?
Yes, just by title, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This is Resolution 2023-15, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, in opposition to the proposed construction of the Belvedere Fuel Farm near Ormond Beach in the unincorporated area of Volusia County at or about 874 Hull Road, Ormond Beach, Florida.
Okay, thank you. So did everyone see the resolution 2023? Did you get a chance to look it over?
Yes.
Everyone looked it over? Okay, all right. All right, does anyone have any opposition, or can I ask for a motion to support 2023-15 in support of our friends in Ormond Beach?
I will so move emphatically.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I think it's important for people to know that this is something that we do, especially you being a member of the Volusia League of Cities. It's important that we have each other's back. And when there's something that doesn't directly affect us, but directly affects our neighbor, yeah, it's good. It's a good gesture to show our support. There's going to be a time where we're going to have their support. And it's important to be reciprocating all the time. So this is a big deal. I've had a lot of people up in Ormond Beach that are upset because the potential is just so dangerous, and there's just so many people that could be affected. So I think this was a wise decision on the city's part, and I'm hoping that our citizens understand we're doing this to help our neighbors.
Absolutely. City manager, I know you live in that area. Is there not a sports complex very close to this?
There is. Off of Hull Road is the whole Ormond Sports Complex, soccer fields, softball fields, the big football field where Seabreeze plays their home games, baseball fields. It's also right next to the airport. So it's a heavily trafficked area.
Okay. Any other discussion on this?
What actually action needs to be taken to stop
Well, it's actually, because it's on volusia County property, unincorporated, they would be the ones, you know, it's adjacent to Ormond Beach, but it would actually be Volusia County that, and my understanding is, and I'm gonna give you just a very basic overview, and City Manager, I know you were in at some of the meetings too. Actually, this property is zoned for such as this. So that what makes it a little bit more difficult to, what do you know about it?
Well, my understanding is it is currently zoned for it, and it's been approved. It's, I believe, a DEP permit to approve that, and I believe it's been approved at the state level, but now the county is trying to, my understanding is the county is trying to get it not to go there. Same with Ormond Beach. I believe we've read in the paper that Ormond has said they will not provide utilities to it, and it is in their service area, so they would be the service provider.
Could that become a legal issue?
I think this whole thing will become an illegal issue down the road unless there's an alternate location that they're able to find, but that's a big piece of property, and they chose it because it's right at the railroad tracks, and that's what limits their access.
All right, did that answer your question? That's,
Yeah, I do see legal action.
right, what my three attorneys on board, yes. You know, I don't know if Bert Harris could come into this. Looking down there, I guess the potential.
I think that there is just an unlimited number of legal issues that could be.
Okay, great, okay. So we are supporting our friends in Ormond Beach. What I'll ask our city clerk to do tomorrow, since this was, well, let's take a vote on it first, Sherry.
Commissioner Conros?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Plius?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes,
Mayor Lambert?
Yes, thank you. So Sherry, tomorrow, if you could notify Karen Allen, our Director of Volusia League of Cities, also notifying our Mayor, Bill Partington, and then also the County Manager, George Reckenwald, that Daytona Beach Shores is in full support. Thank you. Okay, next we'll go on to our City Attorney report. Do we have anything for you?
Not tonight, thank
All
you.
right, thank you. City Manager, what do you have for us this evening?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the Commission. While Angie is pulling up a video for the second thing I'd like to talk about, first thing I've been approached by the City of Port Orange. As you're aware, they provide the treatment of all of our sewage that we pump over that way, and they've approached us about possibly amending our contract, and they've done a rate study, and they're proposing a rate increase. By our current contract, they have missed the deadline to do that request, and now would not be eligible to ask until 2025 for a rate increase. But I'd like to have a discussion. Actually, I'd like to have them come to a presentation, because what I would like to avoid is in 2025 seeing a massive rate increase, and do it gradually over multiple years rather than in 2 years out than doing it. They're asking for effective January 1 each of the next 5 years to have a rate increase. And I have the numbers, and but they have said if we don't do it until 2025, they'll redo those numbers, and it would be a massive increase in 2025. So to soften the blow for our citizens, I'd like to ask them to come do a presentation at a workshop for a mutually agreed upon date. I think their meetings might be the same night as ours, so it would probably have to be outside of our regular scheduled meetings. I don't know how the commission would feel about having that workshop to discuss that.
So are you saying you don't think the 10th would probably work out well for them because they have a commission meeting the same day?
I would have to check and see if they are able to do that.
Could we give our city manager some dates? So if I would prefer to have it the same night, you know, at 4 o'clock, I'm sorry, 4:30 would probably work, 4:30 and the 10th. But if that doesn't work, how is everyone looking on October 9th? Probably, Well, it doesn't really even have to be at that time, so we're kind of open on, 4:30 or 5 o'clock on the 9th. Would that work for you?
That should be
Commissioner?
fine.
All right. Vice Mayor?
I'll make it happen.
Okay. So that would be the 9th at 5? Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, I'll reach out to them and see, and they can give you the full requests. It's going to be quite impactful, so.
Can I ask you, is there other cities that get their water or their sewer from them? Can you explain to me, I asked you this question, but if you could explain it to everyone up here on the dais, that Ponce Inlet really would not be the same as us because of their sewer system?
Well, they're different. My understanding is Ponce is similar on the water side, but Port Orange owns the sewer system over there, so they're different. It's my understanding we are the only wholesale customer in sewage that Port Orange has. So we're a unique situation, so we can't partner with another city to negotiate a different rate. So it is a unique thing. I'll be getting with the attorney to have her look at the contracts and everything before that. But there are deadlines and timeframes where we have to advertise certain rate increases and things like that. And we're running up onto a crunch if they are wanting to do it January 1.
Okay. Attorney Boyce, would you be available earlier on the 10th, or could you send someone on the 9th?
Yes, I'm just checking. You had said it would be,
Well, they have a city council meeting that night, so I doubt whether they want to come here and then rush over to theirs, but I don't think theirs starts till 7.
Till 7.
So if you could be available at 4:30 on the 10th or around the same time on the 9th, can you tell me which date would work better for you? Looks like neither.
I can get
Paul?
someone.
Okay,
Yeah,
someone, okay.
probably Paul.
Okay, all right, thank you.
On the 10th at 4:30, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry?
On the 10th at 4:30?
4:30. Or if that does not work for them, then we would do 4:30 on the 9th, which is a Monday.
Kurt.
So Kurt will get back to us.
Oh, the clerk just told me that they meet actually Tuesday the 3rd, so they should be available.
And then again on the 17th.
Okay, thank you.
So they're opposite weeks.
Opposite, great, okay, all right, so that would be the first choice, 4:30 on the 10th. And if you could have Paul.
Yeah.
Or Wade, we always like seeing Wade.
Okay.
Okay, was there any other question? Yes.
I have a question for Kurt. Do we have any wholesale numbers for any other, not that Port Orange is selling wholesale, but just what people are paying wholesale sewage?
I haven't looked into that yet. The issue we face is, we can probably get like Daytona's number. They do have wholesale customers. They, I believe, South Daytona, and I think it's just South Daytona they may have. So I can get some rates for comparison purposes.
Otherwise, that doesn't, I mean, we can't say, well, but it's useful to have some comparison numbers.
Yeah, we can look into some comparable.
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes, Kurt, what kind of percentage are we talking about an increase?
I don't remember offhand, but the dollars, if I'm remembering correctly, we're paying currently, I believe, either 46 or 56. 46, thank you. And they're talking originally going to, like the first year, just over 4, and then 430, and on up each of the 5 years, and then it would go to, I believe, a CPI automatically each year. So right now, they can only request a rate increase every 2 years on odd years, and they have to do it, I believe, by June or July 1. So they missed that deadline, but those are the numbers. But before we dive in and worry too much about percentages, I think we need to hear their concept and why they're proposing it from them.
Okay, any other questions? Kurt, I'd like you to clarify for our residents, most of them probably know Port Orange is water and sewer north of, well, the whole city for sewer. Water is north of Thames?
Yes.
And anything?
South of Thames is Port Orange for water. North of Thames is Daytona for water. We do the billing for all sewer in the whole city.
All right, I just
And
wanted
it
to.
all is pumped to Port Orange.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, any other, I know you have another item that you want to go over.
Yes.
And I wish Reverend Melissa would have been here. She was the first one that reached out to me, told me how impressive this was, that she could see it going both north and south.
So at many meetings, don't hit play yet. At many meetings, especially Coffee with the Mayor, crosswalks always come up. We were just talking about crosswalks before the meeting. So you've seen probably the Peck crosswalk is now complete. You've seen the orange letter signs out there saying new traffic pattern. You probably haven't seen it go off yet because right now it goes to a park that is closed. But I asked the chief to have one of the officers do a quick video because it's much different than what we have at any of our other crosswalks. And this is what DOT, we confirmed this today, that they are proposing to do at all of our crosswalks on A1A. So there's a couple of things I want you to note. Look down at the crosswalk itself as this goes and see that, but also at the end of the video, I want you to see how dark it gets on the crosswalk itself. So Angie, go ahead and hit.
For traffic to stop, then cross with caution. For traffic to stop, then cross with caution.
A little hard to see, but in each lane, there are now 5 flashing lights. 3 on the, call it the direction that the traffic is traveling, and 2 on the opposite side. And you see it just got real dark there. It now has, each of those poles have spotlights that at night will light up the crosswalk with their LED lights, so that bright white LED light. And all lanes have flashing lights in the ground and on the signs on all sides. So this is what they're proposing to do at all of them. I'm hoping that will be a big improvement for visibility. You don't see in the video, but next time you drive down A1A, you're also going to see a solid double white line that starts well before the actual crosswalk. So like you're not supposed to cross that white line. We all know one of the big problems is cars swerve to go around the car that is doing the right thing and stopping. So I'm hoping this will be a big change in that down the road we'll get one, it'll be at City Hall, they'll upgrade the Publix.
So when you say at everyone, so the ones that only have crosswalks that have nothing else, like Mills, crosswalk to nowhere, that would also?
They are saying to be consistent so that, my assumption is that way people know that it's the same at every crosswalk. So when you're driving through the city, we have one that's lit, some that are barely visible, and so that's consistent. As people travel through our city, those yellow lights go off. That means, hey, you got to stop.
Okay, and then my next question was, all of these are the responsibility of DOT. Did this cost the city anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and going forward, would any of these, if they made them consistent, cost the city?
We could participate to expedite the process, but they would not tell us when they're going to budget it, but they are working on their budget to do it. But there was one other piece that you couldn't hear in the video. When the button is pushed, it says it twice, at least in the video it says it twice. It says, please wait for traffic to stop, then proceed with caution. So it says that twice in that robotic voice that you hear at the crosswalks. So now we have an audible for the pedestrian, reminding them to proceed with caution and additional lights. So I'm hoping this will be big change in the response we get from drivers at these crosswalks, and as we upgrade all of them, hopefully we will all learn and it'll be consistent and keep our citizens safe and visitors safe.
Awesome.
Chief, can you please tell your officer, thank you very much for reviewing this? I mean, I've seen it going by, but I didn't even notice that it had the lights on the street. So thank you very much for doing that. And then I do have a question. You'll remember we had an out-of-town person that got a ticket because the person had crossed, but they didn't get into the center. So my question is, if I'm going north on A1A and someone's in front of me and I stop, do I have to wait just till they get to the center, or do I have to wait till they get all the way across the street? So your lovely officers don't give me a ticket.
You have to wait until they get to the center. The law says that while they're on your side of the roadway, you must stop.
Okay, but when they get in the center, then they're on the south side.
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you. City Manager, did you have something else?
No, that was
it? Okay, any questions? Very interesting, thank you very much for bringing that up. Any questions for our City Manager? Okay, if not, we'll go on to council comments. I'll start. We have a concert Friday night. Nancy, do you want to give us some details, the time and who we have this week?
Sure. Yes, Madam Mayor. We have Walker and Walker, the duo, and they start at 6:30. Hopefully we will not have any projected so far. Or the rain will come and go and cool it all down, and it'll be a beautiful night.
Bring your chairs and your drinks and your food and have a great time. We'll go on to right now. Okay, as you know, many cities have a fitness challenge, and several people have contacted myself or Nancy about that too. So we are going to have a Mayor's Fitness Challenge. It will start next Monday, October 2nd. And it's going to be a little bit different than others do. And if I could ask Nancy to talk about when the kickoff is and what the projected 7-week time frame looks like.
Sure. So we do start Monday and at 4 o'clock here, and the mayor will just give a brief hello and welcome, and then Rob Maxwell is going to talk about nutrition, and so. What we're trying to do is really introduce people to different types of exercise. It's not all just classes, it's different things. We'll be teaching people how to properly use the outdoor equipment. We'll be walking with the mayor once a week, doing all kinds of different things. So I hope people will come and enjoy.
Thank you. And the goal of this, a lot of them are called weight challenge. This is not that. This is fitness, and this, is walking and doing light exercises. And I think Nancy's going to have one day of pickleball. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to get people involved in the community. So please tell all your friends about it. Nancy will start to publicize it starting tomorrow. And again, that starts next Monday. Thank you, Nancy. The next thing that I want to talk about, and this is probably a question for our attorney. So attorney, a couple months ago, we went with a travel policy, so we understand if it's Florida League of Cities, for myself, Florida League of Mayors, anything's included that. And looking that over, there was like one class that I wanted to take because I'm the advocacy chair, and that's what I think made us successful with the beach and the reconstruction was the advocacy. I don't want to have to come every time and say that. How do we go about doing is it a resolution, an ordinance? What do we need that money is put into the budget for each of us if there's any classes like that that need to be taken?
We could easily do it by resolution.
Okay.
And that classes normally are encouraged.
Right.
For, particularly for mayors. And if you want me to draft a resolution, I'd be happy to. And so that you wouldn't have to come back, if you have one you want to do now, I would suggest that you just mention it.
All right, I do have a class that I want to do on advocacy. It's $99, hoping it will help me. Whatever I've been doing has been off the cuff of doing what I do, but I think it would be very beneficial. So just for this next class, do I have the consensus?
Madam Mayor, that was on the consent.
Oh, that was on the agenda. Okay, all right, that one was on there. Okay, so this is going forward. So what And I think most of the classes that we take, to let everyone know, are normally free from Florida League of Cities. Even they sponsor, and the Volusia League of Cities, we have to take an ethics once a year. And the Volusia League of Cities or the Florida League of Cities puts that on free if you want to attend that in person. But sometimes people aren't able to, so I'd like to come up with, this is how much each commissioner can have a year, and I'm not trying to be selfish, but again, like you said, there's more classes for mayor, so I would think the total that I need would be higher than that. As far as an actual dollar amount, do you have anything with other previous cities that you've done?
I've just noticed that it's usually more money is allocated to the sitting mayor.
Okay.
So, you know, y'all might talk about it now. We can bring the resolution back at the next meeting.
Okay. Does anyone, Commissioner Bryan, I know there was one class that you attended yesterday that was a nominal fee.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, mine was only $30.
okay.
And I'm not asking for another 30 like you asking for another 99.
Right, I only got my 1 year, okay. So what do you feel that would be, can anyone tell me, I always go to the free ethics class. Did anybody have to pay for the ethics?
I did.
Okay. And how much was it?
I think $75.
$75, okay. And was there any other classes, Commissioner, that you saw that maybe you would have liked to take?
Well, the one that I actually took was, I think, through Florida State University.
Okay.
But there are a lot of League of Cities classes that I would like to participate in
Okay.
at some point. But now, the classes we're talking about, are these online classes?
The one that I was
I know
talking
that
about
one
was
is.
online, yes.
And I saw Commissioner Bryan was up for a seminar as well, correct?
Well, it's already taken place. It was an in-person meeting.
Okay. And I know in-person meetings and seminars are important for networking purposes, but, you know, I would like to encourage online courses because, you know, I know one of the concerns is the next budget cycle, our millage rates might be going up.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I would like to maybe have a workshop in the future to see what we can do to try to limit. So I know certain commissioners have traveled in the past, but I'd like to take a look at alternatives to that, so we're keep some of the budgets down a little bit, so.
Such as, so right now we have approved that, we have the annual meeting that we go to. I'm, myself and Commissioner Bryan are on a policy committee, so those are always in person.
Sure.
Do you have any others in particular you were
No,
talking about?
but again, I like the idea, taking as many online courses that we can, and I understand there's sometimes where it's not conducive or it's, you know, might not be optimal to do that. Again, I know networking is very important, especially for you. You've been, you know, all over the state advocating for the city. But again, what I'm trying to basically say is any way we can save the city money, we will. And I don't have a problem paying for a lot of these classes myself. I paid $75 myself. I don't really need the city to do it.
Okay.
So I think any time when we can maybe kind of take it upon ourselves, I think we should.
And there is a lot of online classes. Do you get those from Florida League of Cities? But unfortunately, I know with your schedule, most of them are a Zoom class at 1 o'clock.
Right,
You know, on this or that, whatever. So I'm trying to think over and above. So I was thinking $250 a year for every commissioner. Does that sound? And you shouldn't have to pay. If, you know, we urge people to try to go to the ethics class in person just for you to meet other commissioners and do that. You know, right now we have a mentor program. So each of us has one mentee for newly elected as you were. I know you can't participate in that, but that's also, that could be something that we could do online instead of doing that. So what amount do you think? Do you think 250 for the commissioner?
I would prefer to go another way, say
What?
no class, any class would be approved up to $100 without approval of anybody else. If it's more than $100, maybe we want to get approval, but I don't think we should have to go through when we're spending our own time to go to these classes to also have to spend additional time trying to chase down something for $79 or.
Okay.
So I think that anything up to and including $100 should be automatically approved without having to go through any.
I'd like to raise that to 150, because I've seen a couple of, so, all right, would that be all right if we, 150?
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor and Mel, are you speaking of an annual budget per commissioner, or are you speaking on an individual opportunity?
I was speaking on an annual budget when I first brought
Mel's
it up.
thinking something different.
He's thinking something different.
I'm thinking
He's-
whatever courses you're taking, up to and including 100, and you should be able to take without coming to the commission and jumping through hoops, when what you're taking is to try to help the community and to try to become a better commissioner.
I'm in favor of an annual budget, $250 per person, and then if someone seeks to do something over and above that, you come to the council and the commission, and then we'll take it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, does anyone else have any opinion? Any other opinion? No, okay. So, again, and this is the first time I think I've been a mayor, almost 5 years, Becky, that I've had to have a class like this that I've had to pay for. Everything else has been free. So, I would probably want mine to be $450. So $250 and $450, if you could write that up.
Sure.
Okay, and again, this has nothing to do with the policy committees that we're on. This has nothing to do with anything from Volusia League. This doesn't have anything to do with Florida League of Mayors. And I think, was there other circumstances in there?
Yeah, such things as the emo classes, but most of the things under Florida League of Cities, conference, all those are covered. Florida League of Mayors, which the mayor is a member of and will be president in a year. Those things are all covered, and we budget for those. This is those unique classes that do pop up. There are a ton of training opportunities out there, very relevant for our city.
And most of them free, from what I've seen. This is the
A
first.
lot are free.
Right.
And
So if we could take advantage of those, I would urge, again, though, a lot of them are Zoom things. Like right now, I was supposed to be on an opiate Zoom call. I rushed into the office to get on it, canceled till October 12th. So, and again, it's at 1 o'clock. So they don't have, so you're asking for something with a little bit more flexibility. Maybe even if they had that Zoom class, they could have a rebroadcast. I'll bring that up,
That
so
would be
yes.
nice, yeah.
And that would be, I'm sure there's a Q&A on it, but you could listen to the Q&A. Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I took a Florida League of Cities University ethics class today, and the classes that they teach in person are also go in a library. So you can go to the Florida League of Cities University online, and there's a library of all these different online courses that they've had, and they're free.
Great, good to know. So the course that you took today, was that the ethics we all had? This was just a refresher
No, this
for
is
you?
this is common problems that especially new people run into.
I saw that
we-
was newly, I think they said newly elected, so.
Yeah, it was problems that they find that newly elected officials run into, but we as additional commissioners should still be aware of these things, because I did learn a few things, even though I've been 7 years at 4 hours a year mandatory, so.
Okay. I don't have any other comments. Commissioner Bryan, what do you have for us this evening?
The Peck Park decided to protect their property with a third trap bag. I don't know whether you've seen
I
it.
did not know that, no. Okay.
So,
Was that supplied, I guess, by the county?
Yeah,
since
the county
it's
did it.
not- Okay.
I talked to Kurt and Stewart, and the county put a third trap bag on top of the two at the St. Kitts City property. So there are there are a couple of private properties that I've talked to that are seriously thinking about doing that. We may luck out, and maybe all the hurricanes are going to turn north early, which,
We would hope that.
but to depend on luck, it's not.
Did you see the one that's out there today?
Yeah.
Good track.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Where it goes.
It's kind of going all around, but the primary thing is towards Florida. They got one going north, they got one going south, so they can't quite figure out where it's going. But
Commissioner Bryan, I know you were involved in this. We have probably a handful, if not a little bit more, properties that we're very, very concerned about. One of them was the Lexington, but I believe you have an update on that?
Yeah, the Lexington, what used to be the Lexington, I'm not sure exactly what it's called now, but.
We'll still call it the Lexington,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we'll always say Treasure Island.
They're right next to St. Martin's on the north side. They put 3 rows of big bags, which is a competitor to track bags.
White.
They're white, and so there are some potential advantages of them. I haven't bothered to verify the claims as to whether they're, but they do claim that those can be, you can reclaim the sand without destroying the bags.
Oh, okay.
Which
That's
is,
interesting.
So the bags are less expensive. I've heard like $30 a foot as opposed to more like $50 a foot.
Okay.
And so there are several things that I haven't bothered to verify yet that may make them attractive. There's one potential downside. They actually have some structure inside the bags, like wood. And
So not all sand.
yeah, I mean, it's part of the bags.
Okay.
So one of the contractors told me that they tried to get a bag approved. It wasn't big bags, it was some other that had a structure inside, and the county had an issue with it. So that's a potential.
Right. And one of the things that we have to look at, and kudos to our Director of Community Services and Gwen, they're starting to go out and do some violations for ones that have done nothing. And it's not that we're trying to really more or less gig them, although we want them to be protected, but you have to be aware there could be a condo or any structure that has spent millions of dollars getting their seawall up, doing whatever, and I understand they're gonna have return walls, but because the person next door didn't do what they should, you know, like the water came up again. So, you know, we have to be a good neighbor, everyone on the beach, and work together. But thank you for that update. Do you have anything else for us?
That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Lindauer?
No, nothing.
Okay, Commissioner Economist?
No comments.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
Driving up and down A1A, I am recognizing the mini golf place next to the Pappas Plaza is moving dirt around, and they're constructing slowly but surely. I was told that there may be some momentum in Pappas Plaza, and that might be under
I
contract.
believe it is. Or-
It actually has, we've been told it has closed and it's under new ownership, and I think it was yesterday, I actually saw some folks in there starting to clean some stuff out.
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
You know, the more I go by there, it was an okay plaza before, but I think this new mini golf course, and any of you that live in Daytona Beach Shores, you know how the mini golf courses, how popular they are at night. I think that plaza next door could be a potential gold mine. You know, you bring your family out to eat there first, or maybe an arcade, and then you go for a night at mini golf. So I'm hoping whoever the new owner is, I think we know who it is, sees that potential.
And Kurt, do you know what they're planning to do with it?
Initially, to restore it.
It's salvageable.
And that's our plan, is to initially restore it, and then they have some other multi-use ideas, but they're interested in a couple other properties, doing some things in the shores. So let's hope that they follow through with those things.
Good.
So I spoke to the manager of Krabby Joe's, and they're anticipating opening up soon, maybe in the month of October, or the first couple of weeks in November. And then somebody told me that Selena is still doing their due diligence, I presume the high-end condo that supposedly has plans. Does anyone know where this hot dog shop is? The one that you...
Riley's County House?
Yeah, where's it at?
Yeah, it's right near, Winn-Dixie.
Right next to,
okay,
right
okay.
next to Metz's.
Okay. I was looking for it. Good, now that I know where to go.
Yeah, that's,
And that's it. It's just wonderful to see the properties that needed rehabbing or being rehabbed. The ones that have been damaged or destroyed by the hurricane are under new ownership, and they're going forward. So little by little, we're beautifying that west side of the street, so it's coming along.
We sure are, and, that's another thing too, Riley's is just an example, but, I'm hoping that we all go as residents. They can't rely strictly on tourists, especially September is a very slow month. So, go there. If you want to go out one night to eat, visit a shop in the Shores, we would appreciate that.
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay. I don't have any audience comments, but as I always do, if anyone has anything they'd like to say. Okay, if not, Barbara, looking at you reminded me one other thing. So the city manager and I will be going to the leadership class. Would you like to come up and you or Anne Marie plug the leadership class? Tell us a little bit about that and then what the mayor and city manager will be doing tomorrow, and then we'll close this out.
Outstanding, thank you. Well, we're thrilled to have you present. We're going to be at the City of South Daytona tomorrow. We have 21 students in the class, and this is just a great opportunity for these emerging leaders that represent different sectors of our community to learn about leadership from our leaders from our fine cities, to listen to the city manager, and we have all three city managers also present tomorrow. So it's going to be a great day. We'll take lots of pictures. We're also very grateful. Jennifer Carter is our honorary chair and past board chair. She has been a tremendous support to me in this program, and I'm very grateful to her as well.
Thank you. Well, we will see you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. It's always a fun time. Thank you. Okay, what items do we have for the next agenda? Okay, so we will plan on our city manager getting with Wayne Clark from Port Orange to see if that time will work out. He'll get back to us. So there's a chance we'll have that workshop before our next meeting. So if there's nothing else, then this meeting is adjourned.